Hi, hi everyone. The second leg of the Champions League quarter-finals between Aston Villa and PSG. It was a great game. PSG were winning 3-1 from the first leg, and in the first half of this leg, PSG got 2 goals and Aston Villa got one. So going into the second half, I thought it was going to be all over for Aston Villa. But in the second half, Aston Villa were the way better side, and they were able to get 2 goals back to win 3-2 on the night. But overall, they lost 5-4, and obviously what let the Villa down was the defending in the first half. I mean, PSG had a great strategy of playing on the counter, and Aston Villa did leave themselves open to be countered. And with the quality that PSG have, they took advantage, and it was just a really poor first half. If Aston Villa were able to Sure, if Aston Villa was able to keep the game 0-0 in the first half and then did exactly the same exactly the same performance in the second half, they would have won the game comfortably. But obviously they didn't, and I think if they would have had a bit if they would have had a bit more experience at the back in the Champions League, they would have they would have been a bit more defensively solid, because defensively, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Villa back line has had much Champions League experience, and obviously it was a big game at Villa Park, and I think the players let the game get away get away from them in the first half. I just feel like they got a bit excited in the first half, especially in the first 5 minutes. The Villa had a lot of the ball, so when I think that I think they just got a bit complacent, and they left themselves open to be to be counted on. And yes, it's not obviously it would have been nice if the Villa would have went through, but I don't think you can be annoyed at that result, especially with the second half. Aston Villa could have went on to went on to at least get extra time, but obviously they didn't. And on another day, it could have went a lot differently. As I say, if they would have defended better in the first half and not left themselves open, they would have been able to they would have been able to either take it at the time or to win the game outright. But you know what they say, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and hopefully it could be a good learning experience for some of the players. And if the Villa can get the fifth place spot, then obviously that will be a good sign for next season. If they bring in a couple more players with Champions League experience for next season, if the Villa make it, I think next season, if they carry on improving and if they do get into the Champions League, I think the Villa could go even further. But I don't want to take anything away from PSG, because in the first half of this game and in the first game, they played really well. And as I said, at times they were unplayable, and even in the first half of the game, I thought they were gonna score. I thought they were gonna score every time they went forward. So I don't want to take anything away from them, but the comeback was surprising, and it was electrifying. On another night, as I said before, if Aston Villa would have defended a bit, if that if Aston Villa would have defended better in the first half, who knows how the second half would have played out. But but when but the thing I was thinking of, if Aston Villa were able to take it to extra time, PSG did not use any of their subs in the second half. So maybe if it would have went to extra time, they would have put on some subs, and that would have changed the game back into PSG's PSG's favour. Who knows? All of this is just hypothetical anyway. Obviously, the facts are Aston Villa won on the night 3-2, but overall they lost 4-5. And as I say, it was just a bad defensive display in the first half that left Aston Villa down. But as I said, I don't want to take anything away from PSG. Honestly, I think PSG have the I think PSG have the quality to win it, and I think they will win it. And it's ironic they spent years trying to build the Galactic. They spent years trying to build a great team with all these superstars, and then as soon as they get rid of their superstars, they end up getting to the Champions League semi-finals. That that shows you can have all the superstars that you want, but if they don't have a good team spirit, you're not gonna get anywhere. And as I said, as soon as they got rid of all of their superstars, they got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So so when people say just throw money, just throw money at the problem, as we've seen, sometimes money doesn't doesn't solve everything, and PSG are the perfect example of that, because they were trying to build like a Harlem Globe trotters, all the galactic all the Galacticos, wasn't they, a couple of years ago, and that failed miserably. But anyway, yeah, it was a really good game, and I really enjoyed it. I just wish Aston Villa could have taken it, at the time, or penalty, or could have won the game. I don't know why I nearly said penalty there. I meant to say at the time, or they could have won the game outright. But as I said, it was a good second half performance, and we just and on Saturday, Aston Villa are playing Newcastle. I'm gonna call it the final for the fifth place spot, because I think whoever wins that game is gonna finish in fifth place. That's what I think now. That's what I think's going to happen. So let me know what you think. I apologise for rambling on and on, and thank you for giving me some of your time. Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye bye.